Breaking news: releasing Nnamdi Kanu is not an act of mercy, but simply obeying court order, Aloy Ejimakor tells Nigerian government. Hi guys, welcome back to Spice Channel TV. Thank you for always coming out here. If you're joining us for the first time, please kindly subscribe and don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Thank you. Aloy Ejimakor, the special counsel for the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has said that the continued detention of his client amounts to imprisonment without conviction. Ejimakor noted that Kanu is neither facing any trial nor has any charges standing against him. In a statement released on Tuesday night, titled, "Releasing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not an act of mercy, but an act of doing the right thing," the lawyer said the calls for the release of the leader of the separatist group should not be misconstrued to mean as pleas for mercy. According to Ejimakor, the detention of Kanu is manifestly extrajudicial and unconstitutional to both. He argued that Kanu's detention following his extraordinary rendition is also not legal, as rendition is an egregious state crime that destroys the legal capacity of the state to detain the victim of the rendition, in addition to also complicating the persecutorial powers of the state against such victim. The statement partly reads, "The matter of releasing Nnamdi Kanu is not an act of mercy, the executive clemency, or even amnesty. Instead, it is an act of doing right by simply complying with the subsisting court order or the standing international tribunal decision that independently declared his detention illegal. Now, the decision can also properly proceed through a sound invocation of the constitutional provisions on the discontinuation of persecutions, such as this one that is irredeemable, unsustainable." Ejimakor added that it is prominent to note that in the previous but related matter of the infamous proscription of IPOB and the attendant criminalization of its vast members by the Nigerian government in 2017, he promptly levied a contentious legal challenge against the proscription, and in March 2018, the Constitutional Tribunal ruled in favor of Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB, and accordingly directed the Nigerian government to reverse the proscription and cease and desist from any further law enforcement actions against Nnamdi Kanu and the IPOB members. Thus, the subsequent rendition of Nnamdi Kanu, the arrests, the detentions, the torture, the disappearances, and the widespread extrajudicial killings of IPOB members should not have happened had the authorities complied with this landmark constitutional decision. It is irrelevant to stress the fact that, following the rendition, we had also initiated a complex constitutional case against the government of Nigeria, and on the 26th of October 2022, the Federal High Court ruled in the favor of Nnamdi Kanu and accordingly declared both the extraordinary rendition and the consequent detention as a flagrant violation of the Constitution. Thus, Nnamdi Kanu's release from detention vested from the very day this judgment was given, and the days are still counting to this day because the judgment is extant and not stayed. Therefore, if Nigeria truly respects her constitution and her courts, it will be needless to constantly calling on the authorities to release Nnamdi Kanu on a competent judgment that ordered his release. He recalled that the United Nations in July 2022, in a highly critical option, directed that Kanu should be freed, unconditionally, and even went further to call on Nigerians to pay reparations to him as recompense for the rendition. He also said, as a bona fide member of the United Nations, Nigeria is bound by treaty and customary international law to faithfully comply with these directives. Failing to do so stigmatizes Nigeria as a nation that lacks respect for the United Nations, the same institution that passed the historic resolution that legalized self-determination and thus saw to Nigeria's independence. But in the view of the foregoing, it is a fallacy to suggest that releasing Nnamdi Kanu from detention is an act of mercy, and failing that an event that must await the uncertain conclusion of the appeal currently pending and delaying before the Supreme Court. And to be sure, Nnamdi Kanu's fate does not lie in this appeal alone, because the appeal is but one of the several cases that were triggered internationally by the extraordinary rendition, and all the cases are independent, of equal stature, and aim at securing Nnamdi Kanu's release. Therefore, the different moments in our time when two of these several cases, in particular the one initiated at the Federal High Court and the one initiated at the United Nations, both of which have concurrent jurisdiction over the rendition, were determined in the favor of Nnamdi Kanu, and the narrative that freeing him lies exclusively in the hands of the Supreme Court is fundamentally false. It is also malicious and prejudicial and profoundly injurious to Nnamdi Kanu's legal interest, especially as it offers the authority, the embarrass, and the easy political cover to persist in the illegal detention of Nnamdi Kanu. Finally, it needs to be emphasized that for the obvious reasons that Nnamdi Kanu is neither currently facing any trial, nor does he have any charges standing against him. His detention is in reality an imprisonment without conviction. In plain terms, he is a victim of false imprisonment by the state, a rough and tough imprisonment that is very horrible when the local is not a prison or a correctional institution, but a hideous DSS cell, which is no different from a dark police cell, or even worse in some ramifications. My wonderful people, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, Aloy Ejimakor, have made this known to the federal government, to the Nigerian government, to Tinubu's administration, that releasing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not an act of mercy, but an act of doing the right thing. So my country people, what are your thoughts concerning this? The lawyer have said the cause for the release of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra should not be seen as a cry for mercy. Now we know that several people have been calling for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, but yet the government have not done anything towards this. So guys, I'm dropping here. Kindly share your thoughts concerning this in the comment section. Thank you. Bye for now.